Welcome to the start of a new anime review series. This is Kaguya-sama, Love is War, anime review episode number 1. I say episode 1 because this series is still technically on the air. How? Well, Funimation is releasing the dub for season 2. For some reason, they didn't dub for season 1. I don't know why. It's particularly quite bizarre, to say the least. Yeah, they had the license to... Them and Aniplex basically have license to dub the series. Now, Aniplex basically has dubbing rights, but Funimation has the streaming rights. Okay, fine. Okay, then why in the world is that the first season is all subbed, and the second season is dubbed? Like, if you're going to dub... Now, this is the second time I've seen this, that Funimation has basically... Well, I've seen this for an anime, where the first season is not dubbed, but another season of the series is basically dubbed. What other series I saw like this? Gintama. But Gintama did, in fact, I think it was just late last year, they did announce that the first season was going to be dubbed by Funimation. I don't know if it got finished, I have no idea. Now, this episode discussing the first 6 episodes of season 1. And a lot of these episodes are very standalone-ish, very loosely connected to each other. And here's the thing, in a lot of the episodes, there's generally about only 4 main characters. Just 4. You have Kaguya herself. Now, since this is the sub, I'm not going to say who basically her dub actress is yet. She's a very wealthy woman. She comes from a wealthy family. And she's the vice president of student council. Her apparent boyfriend, his name is Makozy Sergei. Yep. He is a student council president, which, okay. And everybody thinks these two are the perfect couple. The reality is, they're not really a couple at all. It's shown in the series. Both these two kind of know that each other has got feelings for each other, but the two proudly confess it. So, they have a contest, and this goes on for every episode. And in the episode, you have a result. And each episode's got 3 stories with it. Now, the only other characters you have in the series, you have Chika, who in the show is basically got pink hair, though also on silver hair. She is sort of has sort of a bubbly personality. She is a student council secretary, and she's introduced pretty much at the start of the series. First, just just Kaguya and Makido. Then, of course, she gets added in. Then they add in the last couple episodes I watched. They added the student council treasurer. His name is Yui Isagami. Yeah, he's a very, let's just say, emo kid. Oh, and by the way, this is all in high school. Basically, a fictional high school in Japan, of all things. Oh yeah, because it's Japan. Okay, they're in high school. They wear uniforms. Yep. Though, strange thing about the uniforms for the girls. When I saw the uniforms, I'm like, wait, did they base the uniforms off the Pilgrims? Because of the white collars and the white, cufflets. Though, apparently, these are the winter garb. The summer garb basically seems like a very simple dress. Now, normally when I see shows, basically set in Japan, what's generally the outfit that a lot of, let's just say, high school teenage girls wear? Sailor outfits. Yep. That's what they pretty much wear. Guys, in their hand, pretty much wear what the student council president is wearing. Basically, a white button-up shirt, usually a lot of time with a suit cover, with a Mandarin-style collar shirt, coat. This one's black, and because student council president, he has this gold robe just underneath his top of his jacket, just to signify he is a student council president. Now I'm thinking, they're in high school, and yet they spend all their time in the student council office. Wouldn't these guys actually bother to, go to class? In all the episodes I've watched so far, there's been no classrooms featured in the series. Now in case you're wondering, I've read the manga for the series. I've read the entire thing before I had a chance to watch this. Now, in just episodes, in the first episode, they cover chapters 1, 5, and 12, 2, 6, 7, 11. 3 covers 8, 9, 14. 4 covers 17, 20. 5 is 16, 21, 23, and 6 covers 24, 25, and 28. Now you're probably thinking, okay, I listened to these episodes. Where are the episodes I skipped over? Well, were they adapted for next season? No, they weren't. And at least got praised the fact the anime, like the first story in the first episode, it's a straight up adaptation from the first chapter of the series. We first see the two leads. They're just walking to school, and of course, everyone see how popular they are, and then they go to the office, and they're basically embarrassed to basically meet each other. And it's sort of a contest a lot of the time. Like, so about the romanticized stuff, like there's various hints about basically throughout these episodes they might out each other, that they would like each other. There's also a couple times where Chica basically, she helps a lot. She's a pretty good character in the series. Though you could kind of say she make a potential love interest for somebody. Does she make love interest for the secretary? Excuse me. Not that I can think of, no. So, a lot of the time she usually... Now, the thing is, Mikosi, though he's commonly heard about his last name in the series, now you're probably thinking, okay, that's strange. Why would these characters, despite the fact knowing these two know each other, why did they dress each other by the last name? Well, because the Japanese copied the style of the British. Not only the former government, but apparently how the schools work. That's where the whole thing in the uniform comes in. Because apparently, from what I've heard, that British public schools, the students all wore school uniforms. Here, it's not really the case, because public schools, kids can wear whatever they want, as long as wearing clothing. And the thing is, only private schools have got uniforms. Though I have heard that if in fact there was a mandate basically that the public schools would wear public uniforms, nobody would obey it. Because they want to wear their normal clothing, clothes where they're comfortable wearing. Not where they wear uncomfortable clothes. That's simply how things are here. A couple times Shizuku basically, they play a couple games. One, of course, is Banned Word. I never heard of this game before. And it's basically all about one of these type of games, basically, trying to get each other to meet each other, that they love each other. And another one, basically, is like a psych test, which that was interesting. And they also have a couple times where they have a couple characters ask Kaguya and Kaguya, basically, about advice about romance. First, Kaguya is basically asked first about it because everybody thinks that basically he and the vice president are a couple, even though they really aren't. They actually, believe it or not, they actually start dating in chapter 160. Yeah, that's where they start the relationship. So the premise of the series is mostly kind of ended with chapter 160, but it just basically features a relationship which they keep secret from the student council. Yeah, that's something the writer did. And in case you're curious though, how long is the manga that this anime is based upon? As of this week, they released 207 chapters, which, that's not bad. A lot of the time, these episodes, you only adapt about 3, at least 2, a lot of time, like 3 or 4 episodes. 3 chapters. That's generally how it is a lot of the time. Now, when I saw this, I'm glad the fact the first chapter was at the first episode, but they also adapt the second chapter in the first episode as well, if they're going to adapt chapters in a row. Not the case this series, nope. Well, there's kind of a reason for that. It's kind of similar to what they did with Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, where you can tell these stories out of order and won't really affect it, unless, of course, they have to when it comes to the plot of the series. So a lot of the time, these chapters are told, the stories these ones are told out of order, unless, of course, they're going to have multiple later. Like, they try to make things like, oh yeah, like one time basically when it started raining and Koya's basically riding out a flat tire, so she basically has to take an umbrella. And apparently McCoy basically just, well, like, oh yeah, made sure about the umbrella, and of course Troy comes in basically because of her umbrella too. And he normally see riding a bicycle to school. Now I'm thinking though that he's probably old enough to basically, if he was basically living here in the U.S., He would probably be up to legal age to buy a car. Yeah, he could, but nope. He basically rather own a bicycle, which okay, that's fine. And basically here, like a lot of times saying, basically high school students basically have their own cars, or basically they get rides to people, or they take the bus, or they simply walk to school. That's generally how it is. So one time, in one episode, this was, I thought was really cool. The fact that Kaguya basically went away to do this, she helped a little girl cross a bunch of pedestrian walkways while away to school looking for her friend. They do, and lucky enough that Magoy just happened to come by his bicycle, having Koga basically sit on the back of it, and him riding really fast to get to school on time. hmm Yep. Trying to think what other stuff happened. Oh yeah, and also when Chosuka basically, she also basically plays sort of love detective, which I thought was kind of funny. Now there's a couple of students basically who pop up in here for a couple episodes. One basically when she first showed up in the series. Let's see if I can find her here. Here we go. There's Nagase. Yeah, she first shows up in episode number. Let's see if I can look it up here. She first shows up in episode 5. Yep, first such episode 5. Her boyfriend. He showed up a little bit earlier than that. Mostly, he just asked the student council president basically for advice, and then later on, she asked basically. They go to ask Kaguya for her advice to break up with him. Why? Because somehow that the president basically gave advice to basically ask her out despite the fact they weren't formally introduced to each other. He just basically just asked her out basically kind of forcefully in a way by putting his hand right next to her and leaning against the wall, and then she says okay. Though of course after Chozuku basically kind of reveals that yeah, she does love him and to continue the relationship instead of breaking up. Yeah. But in the case of the main character's relationship, that's a actual plot thread that pretty much stretches out the entire series until they culminate with action and become a couple in chapter 160, though they still continue the relationship afterwards. There's some other stuff that happens, basically, in these episodes, and a lot of the time, in the episodes themselves, heck, even in the manga it's like this as well, where a lot of the time, these stories take place in the same room, in the student council meeting room, where the student council president has got his own desk. Now, the thing is, I didn't actually see this in high school. I mean, generally put, student council presidents here probably would have their own. The student council would probably have their room, but I don't know if the president him or herself basically would have their own desk. He did. He had his own desk, and he had like a couple couches in there. Which I think, okay, if they're basically student council people, and there's no meeting going on, why are they just hanging around there? Well, just because. The treasurer himself, when he shows up, like, he gives a report and he wants to resign because he's afraid of Kaguya. And he actually finds out about her being in love with with Magode. Yeah. He finds out and he keeps his secret. I mean, he does tell Kaguya, he does know about it, but he keeps his mouth shut about it because he's afraid of her. Yep, he's afraid of her. hmm Overall, good set of episodes to start with when it comes to the series, but it's not a lot of talk about when it comes to these particular episodes. I mean, it's a series where there's not a lot of action happening. It's mostly a lot of conversation, which we're thinking, man, that's kind of a boring series, but when they tell it, it's quite interesting. I mainly got interested in this series, mainly because Funimation basically heavily promoted on their website, and also on their Discord channel. Yep, they actually have a whole channel, one of their things on their Discord server, all dedicated to this series. No joke, if you join Discord server, that is pretty much what you find. They have a whole channel dedicated to this series, along with series like One Piece, like a lot of the big ones. Except for Dragon Ball Z, there's nothing for that, which I'm thinking, wait. The series that basically started your studio doesn't have its own channel on Discord? Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, these are the ones they have on Funimation, on a Discord. They have one for Attack on Titan, Black Clover, By Grace of the Gods, Dr. Deuce, which is made by the same company who made Saga Titan Evil, Fire Force, Brute Basket, Heaven's Special Blessing, Urgosi When They Cry, this series, My Hero, One Piece, Million Detectives, They Become a God, and that's it. Yeah, that's simply put all the shows they have on here for channels. Yep, but not much else to say about this series. It's a good start, and I'm definitely looking forward to watching the rest of the series. Yeah, even though a lot of the time I'm watching it, like, watching about the subtitle. Don't worry, every second season, basically, I'll do that. Now, my next review for this series probably won't come until tomorrow. We'll hopefully discuss episodes, presumably either 7 to 9 or 7 to 10. It just depends. Okay, so that's it for single review. My next review will be a review of Two Comic Corners. And yes, I'm still going to do a Sugar Chunk Once Hang Out. Yeah, I'm going to do that soon. Okay? But the next one is going to be Comic Corners. First be digital, and I have two physical ones ready to go. Okay? This is the video. Bye.